The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. orders Agriculture Department official to meet with egg producers and traders to determine why prices of chicken eggs have surged in recent weeks despite enough supply in the market.
The Department of Justice seeks a precautionary hold departure order against suspended Bureau of Corrections Chief Gerald Bantag upon assumption of office of Gregorio Catapang Jr. as new Bucor Chief.
A lawmaker calls for a total overhaul of the Bureau of Immigration as several human trafficking victims revealed before a Senate panel the alleged collusion of agents with BI officers.
And the United States announces plan to test a nuclear fission-powered spacecraft engine by 2027, a critical advancement to missions including a manned trip to Mars.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, the 25th of January, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harding Delgado.
First in the news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has ordered Agriculture Department official to meet with egg producers and traders to determine why prices of chicken eggs have surged in recent weeks despite enough supply in the market. Nel Maribohok reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ordered the Department of Agriculture or DA to find out why egg prices recently surged despite sufficient supply in the country. PBBM instructed Agri Senior Undersecretary Domingo Panganiban to meet with traders and poultry farmers to explain the wide gap between the farm gate and retail prices of eggs. During the meeting with DA officials, the President sought an explanation on why egg prices have recently increased, pointing to the widening gap between farm gate and retail prices, benefiting mainly the traders.
We determined that the increase of price of eggs is not commensurate to the increase in production costs. So we will have to have a look to see how to control that because we cannot explain almost one half of the profit margin that we're seeing. We cannot attribute it to cost.
The DA said eggs should retail between 7 to 7.50 pesos per piece, given its farm gates prices. However, reports show that eggs are sold for as high as 9.60 pesos per piece. In its report to Malacanang, the Agri Department said the farm gate price of medium chicken eggs is pegged at 6.97 pesos per piece. To address the situation, the DA has reconvened the Price and Volume Watch Committee and advisory groups for livestock and poultry to closely watch egg prices across the country. DA Assistant Secretary Cristina Evangelista has said the agency is eliminating certain layers of traders to bring down prices of chicken eggs. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Justice will ask for a precautionary hold departure order or PHDO against suspended Bureau of Corrections Chief Gerald Bantag upon assumption of office of Gregorio Catapang Jr. as new Bucor Chief. Dante Almento has the story.
Department of Justice or DOJ Secretary Crispin Boyeng Rimulya said they are just waiting for the formal assumption of retired General Gregorio Catapang Jr. as Bureau of Corrections Chief. They will ask then the court to issue a precautionary hold departure order or PHDO against suspended Bucor Director General Gerald Bantag.
After the oath is taken by DG Catapang, then he will be officially out of the government service. At least Mr. Bantag will be. Then we can do it.
Through PHDO, Bantag will be prevented from leaving the country. Bantag is currently facing multiple criminal and administrative complaints before the DOJ.
Just a precautionary measure. Necessary, practical, beneficial. Well, It's something that we really do when the cases are serious. So we're not talking just about one case now. We're talking about a multitude of cases.
Meanwhile, Bantag's camp disclosed that they will wait for whether he will be removed from the office.
Well, let us see. Papalitan na daw eh. So let us see kung papalitan nga.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Philippine National Police paid tribute to the heroic sacrifice of SAF 44. The 44 Special Action Force commandos were killed in an anti-terror operation in Mamasapano, Maguindanao 8 years ago. Leah Ilagan will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police or PNP honored the memory and supreme sacrifice of SAF 44. In his statement, PNP Chief Police General Rodolfo Azurin Jr. said, "May the sacrifice of SAF 44 serve as an inspiration for the young police officers of the PNP.
The gallantry of SAF 44 will never be forgotten, for they have left an indelible mark in the hearts and minds of our nation. Their sacrifice was not made in vain, but rather to ensure the safety and security of our communities and to defend our rights and freedom."
Special Action Force Director, Police Major General Edgar Alan Okubo said, "The sacrifice of SAF 44 was a brave journey so that Filipinos will live in peace."
Their lives are a gift from God. Had not for theirs, we would have basked under shadow of fear, of violence, and of terror. They shunned the beauty of living and embraced the consequences of death. For many to see living as a blessing and to see their death as the end of fear. They made their lives a symbol of perfect patriotism.
Wife of PO3 Rodrigo Acob still emotional in remembering his husband.
Napakabigat sa loob na yung taong kasama mong mangarap sa buhay ay biglang nawala. Para akong natanggalan ng isang paa dahil nawalan ako ng kaagapay, kaakibat at katuwang sa buhay, sapagkat iba pa rin ang may amang nagdidisiplina, nagpapaalala at nagbabahagi ng words of encouragement sa mga anak.
It can be recalled that on January 25, 2015, Oplan Exodus was launched to capture the international terrorist Zulkifli Binhir alias Marwan in Mamasapano, Maguindanao. The SAF commandos successfully killed Marwan, but they were ambushed by the members of Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighter and Moro Islamic Liberation Front. In the said operation, more than 60 individuals were killed, including the 44 members of Special Action Force. Leah Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Philippine Weather Agency clarifies that the weather condition in the country for the past days has also happened in recent years. The country may also expect tropical cyclones that may enter the Philippine area of responsibility even during dry season. Ray Palayo will tell us why.
The country has been experiencing rainy days since last months of 2022. This despite the absence of tropical cyclone in the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA explains that La Nina phenomenon is still existing. This makes other weather systems such as shear line and northeast monsoon that would bring more rainfall.
So ito ay nangyayari, hindi man yearly na normal, but tuwing La Nina season ay nagkakaroon tayo ng ganitong mga malalakas na pagbuhos at mahahabang duration ng rain events. So ito yung nagtutulot ng mga pagbaha, pagguho ng lupa.
Dr. Esperanza Kayanan, the Deputy Administrator of PAGASA, said the same weather condition was also experienced in the past year and it could also cause landslides. and other hazards.
That was in 2006 kung saan laniya din noon. And yung nagumpisa or naging dahilan ng landslides doon sa Ginsaubon ay dahil din sa mga pag-ulan for about more than a week.
But Dr. Kayanan reminds the public that it is important to know the potential hazards in their area. This will enable them to prepare and seek safe places before a catastrophe happens. The official noted that mountains became bald and no trees would hold soil to prevent landslides.
And even sa rivers, kung may mga ibang ilog na medyo may nababarahan na iipon ng tubig, biglang bibigay yung mga nakabara, biglang dalo yung malakas na tubig doon sa kailugan at bababa doon sa plain areas.
La Nina is expected to end in March, but the El Nino phenomenon would loom starting in July this year. About 3 to 7 tropical cyclones may enter the Philippine area of responsibility from February to July. Ray Pilayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for our news abroad, the United States announced a plan to test a nuclear fission-powered spacecraft engine by 2027, a critical advancement to missions including a manned trip to Mars. Ia De Vera will give us the details live. Yes, Ia, good evening.
Good evening, Mariel. NASA has partnered with the U.S. military's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, to develop and demonstrate advanced nuclear thermal propulsion technology within the next few years. The program, which has been named the Demonstration Rocket for Agile Cislunar Operations, or DRACO, will help astronauts travel to and from deep space faster, opening opportunities for NASA crewed missions to Mars. A nuclear thermal rocket will also reduce the risk for astronauts, as longer trips require more supplies and powerful systems.
Thermal propulsion is much more powerful, with 2 to 5 times the efficiency of chemical propulsion. Expanding our partnership with DARPA and its DRACO program will help us create a new era of space transportation.
A new nuclear space race between the United States, China, and Russia have driven these power nations to expand their space programs, including propelling spacecraft and powering colonies on the moon. The plans were described by DARPA's director Stephanie Tompkins as a leap-ahead advance in space technology, citing the space domain as critical to commerce, science, and national security. Back to you, Mariel.
Thank you, Ia De Vera, for that live report. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Marielle. The Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, has lifted the country's deployment ban of overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, to India, and the processing of both new hires and rehires may proceed. Based on the Advisory Number 2 series of 2023, dated January 19, signed by Undersecretary Bernard Olalia, the DMW sought the advice of the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, based on the numerous requests for consideration from concerned workers. The advisory said the DFA provides the following as basis to consider the appeals, one of which is that India has passed labor and social laws protecting workers' rights that include migrants. Second is that India is a party to core labor conventions. And the third consideration states that although there is no bilateral labor agreement between the Philippines and India, there is already an ongoing negotiation on providing Filipino migrant workers social security coverage. The DMW said that the deployment of migrant workers to India, both new hires and rehires, may proceed provided that their employment contracts are duly authenticated by the Philippine Embassy in New Delhi, India. However, DMW clarifies that the deployment of household service workers to the said country is not allowed until it is fully certified as a compliant country under the Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipinos Act of 1995 as amended by Republic Act 10022.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, aims to establish a motorcycle riding academy by the first quarter of 2023 to educate riders on road safety. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, projects that motorcycle riders in Metro Manila may multiply in the future. MMDA Acting Chairman Romando Artes explains that this is because riders can now easily get a motorcycle unit.
We expect po na dadami pa yan dahil patuloy pong dumadami yung mga bumibili ng motorsiklo dahil meron lang po kayo 6 to 10,000 pesos ay makakapag-uwi ka na ng motorsiklo.
As the number of riding community grows, the MMDA aims to degrade the number of accidents involving motorcycle. In 2022, more than 24,000 motorcycle accidents were recorded in Metro Manila, where more than 250 of those resulted to death. To address the issue, the MMDA aims to establish a motorcycle riding academy in Metro Manila by the first quarter of 2023.
Ina-anticipate po namin or projected po natin na masisimulan po ito ngayong first quarter ng taon. I-orient po uli sila sa traffic laws and regulation. Tuturuan po sila ng tapang disiplina ng pagpapatakbo ng motorsiklo sa ating mga daan. Ganon din po yung basic riding course para po makaiwas sila sa aksidente.
Aside from motorcycle safety training course, the MMDA will also provide basic emergency response training for motorcycle riders. According to MMDA, they have also in talks with the ride-hailing companies to prioritize upon employment those who will be able to complete the course. The training will be open for all interested participants for free, and they will be given certificate of completion. Meanwhile, the Motorcycle Federation of the Philippines takes this step as welcome development to promote road safety among riders. The group suggested that the module on the courses in the academy should be reviewed by the Land Transportation Office, or LTO. Its director, Atoy Santa Cruz, also suggested that among the lessons that riders should learn on the program is the rightful attitude when driving a motorcycle.
Ang importante sa amin ngayon itong road rage yung away sa kalye ng mga motorista. Dapat may turo sa kanila yan.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
People in 15 remote areas of the country can now register their SIM cards after the Department of Information and Communications Technology and other government agencies launch SIM registration. Meanwhile, SIM registrations in Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and Muslim Mindanao, or BARM, will be finalized by the Bangsamoro Telecommunications Commission. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, has started its SIM registration on remote areas in the country. But the agency has chosen populous area in the city or municipality to maximize the registration. According to National Telecommunications Commission Deputy Commissioner Ella Blanca Lopez, SIM card registrants will be assisted by the telco companies presented in the designated area, and internet connection will also be available.
May mag-a-assist po sa kanila kung paano gagawin ang registration. Ang mag-a-assist po ay employee din po ng respective telcos. So ganun po ang mangyayari.
DICT Undersecretary Ana May Lamentillo said that registration for national ID will also be available for those SIM card subscribers who wants to do biometrics.
Isasabay na rin po yung campaign for the national ID dito po sa SIM registration. So parang yung mga citizens po natin who wants to do the biometrics specific for national ID, pwede na rin po nila yan gawin.
The list of remote areas in the country covers the province of Ilocos Norte, Cebu, Leyte, Bukidnon, Davao del Sur, Benguet, Cagayan, Bulacan, Batangas, Zamboanga del Sur, Oriental Mindoro, Albay, Iloilo, Cotabato, and Surigao del Sur. And the things needed for registration were government-issued ID, but the SIM card subscribers can also use NBI clearance or police clearance as an alternative option. Meanwhile, SIM card registration in Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao or BARM will be finalized as the registrants in the said area handled by Bangsamoro Telecommunications Commission or BTC.
BARM po is included, kaya lang po now we are currently coordinating with the BTC or the Bangsamoro Telecommunications Commission kasi po mas alam po nila yung lugar. So kasama po ang BARM but as of now, nasa coordination stage pa po kami.
And the telcos are coordinating directly sa BTC considering yung structure natin na si NTC is NCR to Region 13.
Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In other news, the Philippine Statistics Authority report says COVID-19 dropped among the leading causes of death in the country for 2022. Meanwhile, the Department of Health welcomes PSA's report. Gladys Tawabi tells us why.
The third top leading causes of death in the country in 2021. COVID-19 has been placed on the 11th, according to the Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA report.
That signifies nakakaunti na lang ang mga namamatay from COVID dito sa ating bansa and we are able to prevent already further deaths because of this disease.
From January to September 2022, COVID-19 with virus identified landed on the 11th spot with 9,749 deaths. Meanwhile, COVID-19 with virus not identified on the same period has been placed on the 19th with 4,134 deaths. The Department of Health or DOH welcomes the report of PSA, which shows that COVID-19 situation in the country has become manageable, and patients admitted in the hospital with severe symptoms are getting less and less.
We are quite confident as of this time compared to 2 years ago when we were starting off to respond to this pandemic in terms of our healthcare utilization. Because alam natin ang ating mga ospital ngayon ay mas handa, ang ating mga ospital ngayon ay mas may kapasidad para rumisponde katulad ng mga nangyayari sa atin ngayon kung saan nakikita natin very manageable ang mga admissions natin sa ating mga ospital.
According to DOH, experts and evidences show that natural immunity and immunity from COVID-19 vaccine given to the Philippines and in other countries have become a protection against the virus. Meanwhile, the Health Department reveals that non-communicable diseases such as heart attack, stroke, diabetes, and hypertensive diseases have become the leading causes of death in the country.
We will always be cautious about deaths, kaya tayo po ay talagang hanggang sa ngayon better preparing so that we can prevent this kind of situation in the country.
Reason why the department highlighted the importance of healthy behavior and lifestyle to avoid such diseases. Gladys Tawabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Greatly worried. That's what Mrs. Ana May Camatoy feels about her 2 children among the passengers of the missing Cessna plane in Isabela province. Nevertheless, the search operation of the authorities in Isabela about the possible location of the aircraft is still ongoing after one of the passengers has been able to secure a connection via mobile phone. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
Mrs. Ana May Camatoy, mother of the children that were on board the missing Cessna plane in Isabela, plead to Isabela government to find her missing sons. The authorities are yet to identify the location of the missing aircraft.
Ang sa akin lang po sana, gawin po nila yung lahat ng magagawa nila. Huwag po silang tumigil kasi 24 hours na po nawawala yung anak ko.
According to Isabela Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office o PDRRMO spokesperson Joshua Hapinat, the families have tried to contact their loved ones on board the aircraft. This leads them to track down one of the cell phones in the Bilacan, Isabela.
Na-determine po nila na nasa loob ng 20-kilometer radius mula po sa cell site na Maconacon, Isabela po. Yung kung saan siguro po na yung eroplano. And then tumutugma daw po yon sa nakuhang impormasyon doon po sa area ng sa Pinit at Dicambangan, Divilacan, Isabela. Kung kaya, yung Center of Search Operation, dun po sa area ng sa Pinit at sa Dicambangan.
With the combined support of the 95th Infantry Battalion of the Philippine Army, Philippine National Police, Makunakon and Police Mobile Force Company, the ground search operation of the possible location of the airplane was immediately ordered. Although according to the groups, there is still no certainty about the condition of the missing passengers. The Cessna plane departed with a tail number RPC-1174 in Kawayan City Domestic Airport around 12:15 in the afternoon last January 24, 2023. One of the passengers were bound to Makunakon, Isabela to visit their deceased grandfather. On board the airplane were the two children of Mrs. Anna May, who's currently residing in Silang, Cavite. Also on board were her brother-in-law, Val, and nephew named TJ. According to Anna, 9 of her family members went to Makunakon and 6 has boarded the first trip that successfully arrived to their destination. The second trip, however, was not able to arrive to their destination until now. Supposedly, the Cessna plane was expected to land yesterday at 6:30 in the afternoon. As of now, the Philippine Air Force's aerial search had been temporarily halted because of the bad weather being experienced in Isabela. Alan Manansala, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Some top Ukrainian officials have resigned and been dismissed since Saturday due to corruption allegations as President Volodymyr Zelensky launches a broad anti-corruption drive. Ruth Bahe will tell us why live. Yes, Ruth, go ahead.
Yes, Marielle, 15 senior Ukrainian officials left their positions since January 21, 6 of whom are accused of corruption by the media and Ukraine's anti-corruption authorities. Bribery, reports of purchasing food at high prices, and living an extravagant lifestyle are some allegations made against these officials. Those dismissed include the president's deputy head of office, Kirilo Timoshenko, Deputy Defense Minister Vyacheslav Shapovalov, Deputy Prosecutor General Alexei Simonenko, and Ukrainian Defense Minister Alexei Resnikov. However, Marielle, they have all denied their wrongdoings. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the nation regarding the crackdown and how Ukraine must comply with the European Union's anti-corruption standards to advance its member application.
Відповідні кроки будуть і надалі. Кожен з них суспільство побачить, і я впевнений, підтримує. Будь-яка внутрішня проблематика, яка заважає державі, прибирається і буде прибиратись. Це справедливо, це потрібно для нашого захисту, і це допомагає нашому зближенню з європейськими інституціями.
Meanwhile, the presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak commented that Zelensky sees and hears society, as evidenced by the recent adjustments to personnel across his government. Back to you, Marielle.
Thank you, Ruth Bahe, reporting live. The United States Embassy and consulates in India have announced new measures to shorten wait times and increase visa processing for Indians. The new measures include opening its embassies in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, and Hyderabad on Saturdays to assist applicants who require in-person visa interviews. Mumbai Consular Chief John Ballard also announced that the Consulate General in Mumbai are extending its operating hours on weekdays to allow additional appointments. The current waiting time for Indians applying for work visas is 60 to 280 days, while the waiting time for visitors is approximately 1.5 years. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, U.S. Embassy's mission and services in India were affected and created backlogs. This has also affected many Indian businesses, as well as those who rely on their work visas to stay in the U.S. for work and daily living. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Mariela Toza reporting live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
A lawmaker calls for a total overhaul of the Bureau of Immigration. This as several trafficking victims revealed before a Senate panel the alleged collusion of agents with immigration officers. This report will tell us why. Senate Deputy Minority Leader Risa Hontiveros calls for a top-to-bottom reform in the Bureau of Immigration or BI as she expressed dismay on another modus involving immigration officers. In today's Senate Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations and Gender Equality hearing, 3 Filipinos revealed how they were trafficked to Cambodia through fake documents and seamless departure. One of them is alias Ron, who claims he was offered to work as a call center agent, but when he arrived in Cambodia, he was made to work for a cryptocurrency scam.
Ayoko sanang pirmahan yung kontrata, pero kung babalik daw ng Pilipinas, kailangan ko daw bayaran lahat ng expenses na ginastos sa akin. Dahil wala akong pambayad, napilitan akong pumirma. Nandun lahat, ito na raw ang process kung paano mang-scam ng kliyente.
He claims that an agent named Rachel Luna facilitated the recruitment and departure of Filipinos to Cambodia by paying an immigration officer.
Taas ang sinabi ni Rachel na nag-aabot sila sa immigration officer para makalabas yung mga Pilipino, pero hindi binigay ang mga pangalan ng mga contact nila.
Another victim, alias Miles, claims the agent pays $2,750 to $3,000 per trafficked Filipino, including the payment for the plane ticket.
Ang ginagawa daw po, pag pupunta na sila sa booth, kapag nakatayo na daw po yung immigration officer, lalapit na daw po sila. Kapag nakaupo daw po, huwag daw po munang lalapit.
BI Commissioner Norman Tancinco says they relieved the identified immigration officer named Alma Grace David, where 3 out of the 8 trafficked victims passed through in immigration counters. According to Tancinco, they relieved another immigration officer in Clark Airport, noting that there might be more immigration officers involved in trafficking Filipinos.
Reassigned in the meantime to the administrative division and the main office pending investigation being conducted by the Department of Justice. It is unfortunate na itong isang immigration officer ang naging daan ng human trafficking in Clark.
The BI adds they have ordered stricter screening process, especially for outbound Filipinos going to Southeast Asian countries where trafficked Filipinos were reported, including Laos, Thailand, and Myanmar. Lawmakers also urged member agencies of the Interagency Council Against Trafficking to improve its coordination. Hontiveros says she wants to know in the next hearing whether there might be a protector behind the activity, just like in the Pastilla scam, where immigration officers were bribed for the seamless entry of Chinese nationals to work for Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs.
Kasabay na nga ng panawagan ko na magkaroon talaga ng malawakang overhaul sa BI kasi hindi talaga ito tumitigil eh. 2 taon na mula nung ibulgar yung Pastilla scam, ano naman tayo?
The lawmaker adds they may invite in the inquiry the said agent and the immigration officer who were allegedly in collusion for trafficking Filipinos. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Amid the clamor for additional cold storage facilities, the Department of Agriculture, or DA, has allotted 240 million pesos to build cold storage facilities in several regions. During deliberations at the House Committee on Agriculture, the DA said it will build facilities in Ilocos, Cagayan Valley, Central Luzon, and Mimaropa regions. According to DA, this would double the cold storage facilities available in the country. Currently, there are 7 cold storage facilities under the Agriculture Department that can store up to 2,430 metric tons of onions. The DA is also looking into establishing mobile cold storages.
Establishment of more cold storages in the vicinities, especially of these production areas, para po mapaigsi natin yung pag-transport ng produce ng farmers to these cold storages.
The House Committee on Agriculture began deliberations on the situation of the onion industry in the Philippines. After questioning the steep prices of onion, a lawmaker said there is a possibility that cold storage and warehouse owners might be involved in price manipulation. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
In order to make sense of the so-called mystery of the overly priced onion, Marikina 2nd District Representative Stella Kimbo believes there might be cold storage owners involved.
Sa tingin ko, yan po ang nagiging source ng market power. So kung meron pong panggigipit ang nangyayari or at the same time kung merong pagsasabwatan sa pag-price manipulate at sa hoarding, pasensyahan na lang po, tingin ko, yun po yung may-ari ng mga cold storage at saka warehouses.
During the deliberations at the House Committee on Agriculture, the Agriculture Department said that there are over 338,000 metric tons of supply of onions in the country, while the demand amounts to more than 363,000. According to the lawmaker, this is equivalent to 7% or merely a shortage in supply, which made her question the 600 pesos per kilo of onions. She also said that there is more to the steep prices.
Kung hindi talaga mapaliwanag ang paggalaw ng presyo, para sa akin, ang sagot niyan talaga kartel eh. Yun lang talaga. There just has to be artificial manipulation of prices because the market cannot explain bakit ganon ang paggalaw ng presyo. Mr. Chair, ang hirap kumuha ng mga sagot sa DA. Dediretsuhin ko na lang, Mr. Chair, Director, naniniwala po ba kayo na merong cartel dito sa ating industriya?
Ma'am, hindi ko po maano kung may cartel, pero mukhang aside from the production, ma'am, at saka sa importation ay meron pong parang nagko-control nga po. Hindi ko po alam kung yun na nga po ang tawag doon, madam.
Lawmakers already requested the list of individuals and groups allegedly involved in the cartel for further investigation. Meanwhile, farmer groups already requested for farmers to be prioritized in using cold storage facilities to extend the shelf life of their goods and not resort to underpricing.
Ang nagdidikta po sa amin po ay ang mga negosyante. Pag sinabi nilang 8 hanggang 15, wala na magagawa kasi po wala naman paglalagyan. Kaysa mabulok yan.
Lawmakers also call on agencies, including the Philippine Competition Commission or PCC, to investigate and help curb cartels in the country's agriculture industry. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time through the social media accounts of Members Church of God International.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 11. It says, "For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another." And those are the reasons behind the news, January 25, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Hardin Delgado.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.